I've always worked with reclaimed materials. Yeah, since I was a really small, since I was sort of an 8-year-old. One of the main driving forces behind my work is to be reusing materials. I find that modern day society is so wasteful. Pretty much all of my materials for my work is just all scrap. Jason Lane. I'm a Bristol-based sculptor who works from reclaimed materials, predominantly scrap metal. I've always worked with reclaimed materials right from when I was a child. At school, when I was, I don't know, about 8 or 9, I used to get all the models out of the bins in the classrooms. People have started to make airfix models of aeroplanes and cars, and then I used to remake them. I get all the bits and fix them all together to make my own sculptures with my own machines out of all of the bits and pieces from the bins. Occasionally you get models with motors in them as well, so I could actually make them so they actually moved along. When I was older, I used to go to the tip with my father and get bits and pieces from there. My father was a boat builder. He used to make steel canal boats, so I used to spend quite a lot of time in his workshop as well, which is good. After school I went to art college, and then when I finished at art college I then went to technical college to learn how to weld properly, because the welding at college was okay, but then I wanted to get better so that I could make big sculptures. And I've been working on my artwork for, well, since I left college, so about 30 years. I do find it quite depressing how in modern society how people just have something just for a very short time which they just think is amazing, and then all of a sudden the new thing comes out and then they just throw it away and it has no value at all. So a lot of my work is, I suppose, is about that. It's trying to take these items and remake them into something. So even if it's something broken, then you can repurpose it and make it into this new sculpture so it has some value again. And I actually like it when people have something because it's the other extreme where it's worn out and they throw it away, but sometimes the worn out items can look amazing with all the years of use and the paint's worn off and the rust on it, and then to bring all these dead objects together and then make something feel alive again, it feels really good. I make a lot of mechanical sculptures, but I also like making bird sculptures a lot as well. I'm quite interested in some of the animalistic qualities you get in machines. The way machines move, they can be quite animal-like as well. So I quite like working between the two. Sometimes machines, sometimes animals. So it's mainly mechanical sculptures. Some of my mechanical sculptures I like the noises they make when they move. I like the juxtaposition of all the different moving elements. So the machine is interesting when it's stationary, but then when it moves, it comes alive, and you can see all the different elements moving behind each other and the different colours. But I also like making drawing machines. So I like the fact that you can see the machine creating the drawing. So you have a drawing at the end, which something which is nice to look at, but it's also, you've seen the whole process of how the drawing's being made. So it's not just the drawing, it's in your mind you can remember how the machine made the drawing. So it's like an experience of seeing the drawing being made, but then you have the drawing as well. It's actually one of my favourite places, I think, going to scrapyard, because it's so inspirational. I can find something, and then it will start the whole process going of my next piece of work, because there's one bit which would be good for a new machine or for a new bird. It might be a good head or a good body, and then I can start adding to that. And I've got even if it's a few days later, I've got the first piece I've found, which has started the process, and I can, when I'm out, I'm looking and I can be adding to those in my mind till I've got piles of pieces. I'll often actually have trays, then put them into trays so that I can have, if I haven't got time to make the sculpture, I'd put them into boxes so that I can come back to rebuild those. I like working in a very sort of fluid way, I suppose. So when I'm working really well, I have 4 or 5 pieces of sculpture on the go at the same time. So I might have one machine or one bird I'm making, and I offer something up, and if it's not quite right, then I think, oh, it might be good on the other one, and go across the studio and offer it up onto the other piece. And so I work in quite a fast way, and that's why I like having so many materials all around me, because I don't want to lose that spontaneity in my work. If I can just reach out for new bits until I find the right one and fix it on, rather than having to go out of that. Rather than to go out looking for more materials. It's great if you've got a really good collection of them, so you can keep on working, and so you're working between all the different pieces of work. Some of my sculptures can be really, well, some of them can be really quick. I can just find exactly the right components, and then, it can be a few hours. But then other times it can be days or weeks or months. Obviously, some of the bigger builds. And this was quite involved, building this machine over here with all the different moving elements to get them all to work. It was quite complicated, but. I don't do very much drawing at all, but however, if it's a big piece of work, I do normally draw it out just so that I can work out just the rough dimensions of the piece of work and how it's all going to, work. But it's normally just work it out as I go along. I think when I'm looking at things, I can see in a very visual way. I'm looking at one rusty piece of metal. It doesn't take long that I can envisage all of the other bits on it, and then I just start welding it all together. I like it fast. I like it when it's fast. That's my favourite time, when the pieces of work come together quickly. That's the most enjoyable way to work. I went to visit a friend the other day and he gave me these. I really like them. They're for holding, oh that's right, they go like this, for holding insulators on pylons. You'd have the big discs here, the ceramic discs. I thought they're beautiful, really nice birds. I'm going to weld them. I've got these spikes from an old mower. I'm going to go in there and have little feet on there. And when they're looking at each other, they've just become so alive. These bits of scrap metal will just be changed from all bits of scrap to these two alive birds interacting with each other. This one quite likes this one. We're looking down to try and catch her eye. It's nice seeing people's reactions to my work, especially when they've seen where I work and then see what I make from it, because I think when people come into my studio, they see piles of scrap, piles of all this stuff which they can't work out why I've got so much of it, and then when I start making the sculptures and they can see the components come to life, and they really enjoy seeing the process of developing, or just seeing from the pile of scrap to this dead piece of metal which has become alive into, a beautiful bird or something again. Just gives it a whole new lease of life. Yeah, I think the everyday waste, it's great for me, but I just think environmentally it's really bad. It's a real shame that people just, discard things so readily. They don't even bother trying to sell it or give it away, or even in charity shops, people, they'll have stuff and they only sell a certain amount of it and they throw the rest away. And I just think it's really sad how we live in such a disposable, society where people don't really value anything. Items don't have much of a value these days. Years ago, not that long ago, when people would fix things, they would often have something at break and they might get something else, either try and fix the thing or get something else similar and then use that for spares to fix it and keep things going. I think that people need to change the way they think to, I can see, won't put me out of a job. I can still make things out of broken, rubbishy things. But I'd just be nice if people were a bit more mindful of what happens when they scrap things.